Alright guys, we're heading back out. It's a beautiful spring day here. Had a bit of a frost last night, but this is prime firewood season. I got the tires aired down in the Chevy, and we're gonna have to get through a bit of snow, but I got a nice fir down across the road and I want to go grab it. Now my normal route up to the honey hole, actually the bank sloughed and you can't get up that road anymore. So I thought I might be skunked, but a local buddy told me about this back way. It's a little more gnarly, but with the tires aired down and two-wheel drive, Chevy can still make it. Alright guys, so here it is. Across the road here, somebody's already come and cut a section of it out. So let's go take a look. I don't do a lot of green firewood because for our permits here, you're not supposed to cut down green timber. So I usually get in dead standing. But this one's down, it's over the road, so it's fair game. And it's pretty nice, probably 24, 26 inches at the base. Quite a few branches. It tends to be that way when it's on a more sunny side of the exposure here. We're right in the sun. So I have to knock all these branches off, and this stuff's pretty tough to split when it's green like this, especially with a bunch of branches. So probably just going to delimit and maybe bucket into 8-foot sections and just winch it up onto the road over there and then load the rounds into the Chevy. This is my first real proper rip with the ported 462 by Donnie Walker, and I gotta tell you, this is just a different saw. You can probably hear it, but it's just a ripper. Couldn't be happier with this, so thank you, Donnie, if you watch this one. If you guys want some saw mods, definitely look up Walker Saw out in Nanaimo. This is as good as it gets. It's going to take a while for this to dry, but it's going to be nice firewood. Well, guys, I kind of made a boo-boo here. I didn't bring the 4-stroke fuel for my winch, and the tank's almost empty on that little winch. So I got right here maybe a 15-foot length, and I think I can just choke this and drag it up onto the road with the truck and process it that way. But this is the first section here, and then that's all the good stuff. And it's a little ways off the road. I won't be able to get in there with the 2-wheel drive. So I think I'll just focus on this. Yeah, I think I'll just focus on and get this section up and get that bucked up. And then I might just fire the winch up and just see how much of this I can pull out of here till it runs out of fuel. But it's about an hour round trip for me to go down and get fuel. So I may be able to get a full truckload here out of that, and then a little bit of this, and then run back down, unload it, grab some 4-stroke fuel, and come back up here. And this guy's going to be heavy. It's green, and it's pretty sizable, so I'll probably have to buck it into, I think the first section here, I got it bucked into a 5-foot section there. That's probably about my max for winching this. And I'll probably just choke these here and kind of pull them straight up onto the road like that. So let's get going. We'll choke that first section and just try and get up on the road with the truck and go from there. Okay, wire rope choker and my cheap Yankum rope. Yeah, the nice thing about the kinetic rope is it takes a bunch of that shock out of it. Well, guys, check this out. So this is where this tree came down. It's got this big branch, maybe 3 inches in diameter, and it spiked into the road here, right in the middle of the road. And then also now the ground is frozen. I don't know when this tree might have gone down, early in November or something. And so now you got this booby trap out here in the middle of the road. So I'm going to grab I don't want somebody to come up here in their side-by-side or a dirt bike and see this. A bunch of this debris here is still frozen in the ground. So grab my splitting maul and just smash this all down so it's nice and flush with the road. All right, there we go. Yeah, okay guys, so I'm totally out of fuel on the winch. I just checked. So I think what we're gonna do is just take what I got here and run it back down to the cabin and unload it and come back with some fuel and start winching that big guy up onto the road. That's a good start on a truckload. And that was only like the first third of that tree. The real meat of it is down there still. So make the round trip, unload this stuff, and come back for more. Anyhow, bit of a pain to run back down and get more fuel, but I wouldn't have been able to fit all this in one truckload anyways. And hey, it's a beautiful day to be doing firewood, so no complaints here. All right, now we're back, so let's get set up. And what I think I can do is I'll put a nylon sling and a pulley on one of these trees up here, and it'll nicely reach right down in and be able to start plucking this stuff out of here. So from there, up to there, down to there. Kind of have a choice with this. So I'm running just one part of line there, and I could snatch block it and I'd have more pulling power and I could take bigger pieces, but you kind of have a choice. You can make the weight smaller or you can make the pulling power bigger. And for simplicity, I'll just take the saw down there and I'll make them into smaller pieces.
Those are some nice rounds of firewood. And I'm glad I brought the dirt bike ramp because it's hard on the back lifting these up into the Silverado when they're wet like this. So this is right at the butt here, and overall we're at 26 inches. The actual meat there probably down to 22 inches, but this is, so I'm in the BC Southern Interior, and this is what I believe is called inland Douglas fir, which is like a subspecies of the different Douglas fir types. And they get down on the coast and the coastal regions, they get enormous timber. This is about as big as it gets in the forest here. There are you meet the occasional one that's bigger, but this is kind of the upper end. That with that 28-inch bar, I'm usually pretty good. But it goes to show you, that's 3 inches of bark on there. And usually when I'm cutting this stuff, it's dead standing and the bark is a lot drier, and that's where you get all that dust. You get a ton of dust out of this stuff. I can really notice the difference when I'm cutting it here and it's green, which is pretty rare for me. Just makes really nice chips. So this was a really nice tree to come up here and process, but to be honest, this stuff's hard to split, especially these big rounds. And I don't actually have any wood in my yard right now that I didn't split by hand. Everything I've got has all been hand split, but I think I might actually take it easy on myself and get my hydraulic splitter and just bust up these big rounds with the hydraulic, because they won't dry when they're rounds like this. It just takes forever, and it's a workout and a half splitting these. So we'll just roll them up into the back of the truck, take them down to the yard, and eventually here in the summer I'll drag out the hydraulic splitter and quarter these big dogs up. But generally with the dead stuff, usually we'll leave the bark in the woods, it'll just fall off, but all this will be coming home with me, which means it makes a giant mess in the yard, but we'll take it. This is some beautiful firewood, and this amount, when this is dry, I'll be burning this in 2027, I think, or maybe even into 2028. But when this is dry, we're probably looking at, with just this one tree today, we're probably looking at 2 or 3 months of heat for my house, just from this one tree. She's a beauty, so thanks for sticking along, guys. Well, guys, I gotta admit defeat. There's 2 rounds left, and I just don't have the strength to get them up into the triple stack them up there. These are heavy, over 100 pounds a round, probably on the big ones. Just the maximum of my strength to roll them up double high like that. So I'll just leave those 2, and I'll come back and get them. If somebody snakes them and takes them home, then I guess they got one up on me. So not the end of the world. Lots of firewood for everyone to go around, and like they say, all's fair in love, war, and firewood. Well, guys, that's a full load of firewood, nice and cleaned up here, and I'm tuckered out. Time to go down, grab a drink, maybe unload all this. Thanks for watching.